Thanks so much for joining us here on this Wednesday. I'm Brooke Hash. Federal enforcement of the Real ID law began today, decades after its introduction. The biggest changes you can expect to see will primarily concern how you get through airport security. Our Gabriel Gonzalez spent the morning at Ali International with how the first day's gone so far.
The lines at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport on Wednesday morning were short. No problems. Everything seemed to be running smooth. That's because the Real ID Enforcement Day starts today. Now, without that Real ID, you may be subject to additional screening, which of course would be an additional wait. Now, since the Real ID is being phased in, you can also get through security with another government form of ID, like a passport or military ID. A local TSA spokesperson told us operations here at the airport are expected to remain smooth. And we also talked to a traveler who said that she was excited and glad for this extra security.
Laws are important. They help keep us safe. And so I think it's a good thing that they're finally enforcing it. I just hope that there's some flexibility for people who maybe don't have as much access or means to meet the timeline, to give them, grace to have accommodations.
And as a reminder, if you do not have your Real ID, you are encouraged to arrive at the airport at least 3 hours early. Normally it's 2, but now it is 3, so that way TSA can verify your identity. And as a reminder, today is not the deadline to get your Real ID. You still can get one by making an appointment and taking all of the proper documentation to your local DMV. At the airport, Gabriel Gonzalez, WHAS11, on your side.
So your best bet in getting that Real ID is to make an appointment. Like Gabe said, it happens online, and depending on the location, it may not be until June or July. If you are a walk-in, do be prepared to wait several hours at your local licensing branch. You'll need proof of identity like a birth certificate, then proof of your Social Security like your Social Security card or a W-2, and then 2 proofs of residence. That could be a utility bill, a bank statement, or something from your mail. And if you've changed your identity or name, bring proof of that as well. Non-citizens will also need proof of legal presence. And we have the list of all the accepted documents posted in this story on WHAS11.com. The search for the next leader of Jefferson County Public Schools is now down to 2 finalists. Ben Schuldiner, who you see there on the left of your screen, and then Brian Yearwood on your right. Schuldiner is the current superintendent of the Lansing School District in Michigan. JCPS said the Harvard grad led a major turnaround at the Lansing schools, boosting attendance rates by 13% and graduation rates by 26%. Yearwood was superintendent of the Columbia, Missouri Public School District from 2021 to just last year. He's credited with a 16-point increase in its annual performance score during that time. He's a graduate of New Mexico Military Institute and Texas Tech University. Both finalists will have final interviews and meet the public on Tuesday, May 20th. A little bit more cloud cover, it seems, today, Matt, but it is still a beautiful day with some sunshine.
You know what? We're expecting to stay under these cloudy conditions as we go further on into our afternoon time. Some of us may see a few pops of sunshine, but definitely across the metro, we're staying in this overcast pattern. Now, temperatures are fairly mild. We're in the upper 60s, so not too bad temperature-wise, but if only we had some sunshine to kind of balance that out. Unfortunately, we're going to be staying under these cloudy conditions as we go throughout our afternoon. The rest of us still ranging in those 60s this afternoon. Across Kentuckiana, we're at 66 in Bedford, 65 Hodgenville, 67 for you folks near Shelbyville. Now notice on satellite and radar, steady amount of cloudy skies and a few spotty showers starting to arrive just further towards our south. I'd say if you're closer towards Elizabethtown, Litchfield, you guys are going to see just some patchy drizzle. Now these cloudy skies are still expected to continue as we go further on into our afternoon time. That'll carry over into the night and also lead to some rain showers as we head into tomorrow. So expect the cloudy skies still to be persistent. We've got temperatures that will be ranging into the mid-70s by the middle of the day. So it is going to be quite the cloudy afternoon for us with those temperatures really in our average for this time of the year. But as I mentioned, we're not really expecting much sunshine. Now I am tracking chances for showers to arrive tomorrow. They're going to be sticking around throughout the course of our Thursday. Some brief periods of some moderate rainfall will be likely. We'll have those details coming up here in just a few short minutes. Brooke?
Matt, thank you. New here at noon, an arrest in the case of a boy shot in the head in Valley Station. LMPD said it happened around 6 o'clock last night at the woods of Glen Hill Manor Apartments on Bold Forbes Boulevard. We've learned 18-year-old Jamal Sheikh was arrested hours after that shooting. Police said he admitted to driving several people to that location for a gun transaction when the shooting happened. He was charged with complicity to assault and tampering with evidence. He'll be in court tomorrow morning. The boy, we're told, remains in critical condition at U of L Hospital. The LaGrange Police Department is investigating after a woman was found dead inside of a tax office. Officers were called to the Tax Pros USA building on 1st Street in LaGrange shortly after 9 yesterday morning on a report of an unresponsive woman. Police confirmed her death and later identified her as 55-year-old Gina Hawkins. Her cause of death has not been released. Today, LMPD is set to release body camera video of an officer-involved shooting in Camp Taylor. This happened back on April 26th at a house on Lincoln Avenue. Police said 55-year-old Daniel Gish fired a shot into the floor during an argument and was holding a gun to his own head when officers arrived. After refusing to drop that weapon, he was shot in the arm by Sergeant Christopher Pedigo. Gish is expected to make his first appearance in court on Friday. Sergeant Pedigo is on paid administrative leave as is protocol. LMPD is expected to release that video at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The U.S. Attorney's Office has worked on Louisville's federal consent decree for years now. They've now withdrawn from the case. A number of the attorneys working on that consent decree. And this has ignited questions of whether the reform agreement will ever happen. Just last week, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that would pull the consent decrees out of multiple cities. Our Isaiah Kim Martinez pressed the mayor on what this means for Louisville's future.
Mostly what we're here to do today is to listen to you and to hear.
These two men, seen in 2022, Suraj Kumar and Paul Killebrew, then attorneys with the U.S. Department of Justice, are no longer part of a years-long federal case dedicated to reform Louisville and its police department.
It's time for a decision to be made at the federal level so that we can give this community clarity.
They joined 4 other DOJ attorneys with the Civil Rights Division leaving their roles, court records show, amid changes and pressure from the Trump administration.
That piece missing, there is a source of nervousness of, do we really have anybody up on the federal level interested?
It was at Bishop Dennis Lyons' weekly community discussion, the Bishop's Table, where we first saw DOJ attorneys like Kumar and Killebrew interact with Louisvillians in person. We saw Killebrew appear at multiple feedback sessions in the years to come as the federal reform agreement known as a consent decree was being negotiated. My email to him gone unanswered.
When the DOJ stopped showing up, then the command staff stopped showing up.
Last week, Donald Trump ordered his attorney general pull out of all consent decrees nationwide, including Louisville's within the next 2 months. Just days from that order, on Oaks Day, the very DOJ attorneys who helped craft Louisville's consent decree are out. I asked Mayor Craig Greenberg about what some see as the writing on the wall. As mayor of Louisville, do you agree with President Trump's decision to issue that order that is causing all this to happen?
No, I do not agree with that decision, but what I'm focused on is this community.
The mayor committing to hiring an independent monitor to oversee local reforms, no matter what happens next in federal court.
Here in Louisville, regardless of what this administration, regardless of what the U.S. Department of Justice decides, regardless of what a federal judge decides, Louisville Metro government and LMPD will continue the work of reform and improvement to LMPD.
The Trump-appointed federal judge still needs to decide whether to approve or reject the consent decree, but it appears he won't be getting any nudge to do so from the federal government. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 on your side.
Meanwhile, Mayor Craig Greenberg's billion-dollar budget proposal for this coming year includes more money to hire an independent monitor to oversee police reforms in the city. That's on top of hundreds of thousands of dollars council approved last year for that same purpose. A West Louisville family is speaking out about gun violence in their community after losing a loved one in a Derby Day shooting that killed 2 people. LMPD said 28-year-old Martez McAtee was killed around 2 o'clock Saturday morning. Police said the shooting happened at a Kroger on 28th and Broadway following a party that went late into the night. McAtee's family and friends gathered yesterday in that same Kroger parking lot to remember him, signing personal messages on balloons and then releasing them to honor his life.
It's just gut-wrenching. You know, he's big heart, care about everybody, show love to everybody, family, man. You know how it go, but like, it's just a tough loss for everybody.
Now, this is not the only loss the McAtee family has faced. Martez's father, Marvin, was killed in 2020. His case still unsolved. And then just a few months before that, a member of the Kentucky National Guard shot and killed Marvin's uncle, David McAtee, during one of the early Breonna Taylor marches in the city. LMPD is still actively investigating Martez's case. If you have a tip that could help police, call that anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. A DuPont Manual basketball player has died after a battle with cancer. Our sports director, Ken Spencer, brought you Davis Randall's story just 3 months ago on Randall's senior night. In 2023, he went to the doctor for knee pain, where they found osteosarcoma, but Randall never gave up. He went through treatment, had a full knee replacement. The teenager told Ken the support from his family and team meant everything to him. He was 18 years old.